All right, welcome back. This next story is a doozy. It shows the depths of ridiculousness that we've reached in this country. I think it's best explained by this next clip from our Agricultural Secretary, Brooke Rollins.
But you're not going to believe what we just found. Behind a door at USDA, we found a whole box of these seeds. And listen, we love seeds here at USDA, but check these out. These are specific tomato seeds that are for growing diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility at USDA. I mean, look at these. If you can be anything, be inclusive at USDA. America, this is what we're fighting here in Washington, D.C. This is why we are completely working to realign under President Trump's vision our entire government about returning power to the people, about ensuring that we're putting Americans first, and that we really are going to make America great again. And no longer will we spend tax dollars on diversity, equity, inclusion at USDA.
All right, thanks for coming back. Thank you very much for being in studio, Dr. Swain. Okay, we saw that. I have a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. But DEI and our seeds, is that where we've gone? My next guest, you've got a rural background, and I'm sure that you've got a take on this story. So we thought we'd bring you in and let you tell us what you think.
Well, first of all, DEI is everywhere. And under the Biden administration, he issued an executive order that basically charged every governmental entity with finding a way to implement DEI. That created a boondoggle for organizations such as whoever produced those seeds to make products for the USDA. And so that's how it happened. Okay. It was an executive order that said that every part of the U.S. government had to come up with a DEI promotion strategy. It's taxpayer finance propaganda. Okay, so
I'm not as smart as you are, so I'll take. I look at it like this: does a DEI tomato seed taste better than a regular tomato seed? I mean, can I bite into that burger with a big slice of tomato and go, this tastes very inclusive? I mean, it's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, there are some people, and for whatever reason, they're called progressives, and by they're purchasing and planting DEI seeds, it makes them feel good because they feel like they're doing something for humanity. They're contributing. They're proving that they are an anti-racist.
So my non-diverse, non-inclusive tomato seeds, what is it? My tomato just grow on its own over here? It's got no other tomato friends? I mean, I don't understand what the difference is.
Probably those tomatoes have stunted growth, and that's racist.
Exactly right. I mean, that's why we were laughing. We were doing the editorial here this morning. We both mentioned we saw this Brooke Rollins clip with these seeds. And so I just want to know the difference between, because we have GMO, genetically modified, and non-GMO. If we have DEI and non-DEI, what's the difference when it hits my table?
I don't know, but the DEI seeds, if they may have stunted growth, they may be more prone to blight, and that would be because of racism.
Okay, yeah, you're right, and that's what it all boils down to. So this highlights to me, I'm sure you're going to agree, but it just the depths of how far DEI has drilled into our everyday society when we have DEI seeds. When you think we're getting rid of it at all these universities, this top line people they're either renaming it, but if they're not renaming it, it's still getting into the basic, the bottom of our society has still got this stuff going on.
Well, President Trump has been in office, I guess, less than 3 full months. Right. And he issued those executive orders banning DEI and affirmative action on January 20th and 21st. A lot of the world, they haven't gotten the memo, but it's so integrated across every level of government and private institutions that people really don't know what to do. How do you get rid of it? It's going to take time.
Because it took time for us to get to this point now. So, again, this is another thought we had in our editorial meeting this morning, but it is one of those things where I think if we would have had an 18-year-old in the room with us when we were talking about this story, they wouldn't have been surprised or flabbergasted like the 40, 50, and 60-year-olds in the room when we look at stuff like that. That would maybe not have been a shock to them if there was DEI tomato seeds. They would have thought,
well, okay. Wait a minute. Someone from Gen Z may have come up with the idea.
Right.
Because they were charged with coming up with some type of way to bring DEI into every department of government. So a team of people sat around and they brainstormed, and that was one of their ways of doing it. I guarantee you that was only one of their ways of doing it. And think about it, the taxpayer dollars that went to the company that produced the packages of seeds, they look very slick, and the inclusive cards. I mean, imagine all the money that exchanged hands, government money going to organizations producing propaganda.
Well, you're right, and it's probably a lot bigger than I could ever imagine, but it was nice to see somebody doing something about it on air. So ridiculousness at its heights. Thank you very much for coming on and having a little bit of fun with us on that clip. All right.